I'm Allison, and this is my dog. And we live in a tiny house, and an even tinier trailer, traveling the country, taking hikes. And this week, we're celebrating 1 year of travel in the tiny trailer. I'll take you on a little tour, answer some questions, and you can laugh at me as I struggle to get any peace and quiet at all. I know you can hear that. Oh my god, the highway noise is killing me. This dirt bag. Oh, we're gonna wait for someone else to drive by again. Oh, look, another car. I should invite them over for dinner so they'll stop driving by. Is that a drone? Oh, look, another one. Great. I'll wait. Legit, somebody is flying a drone over here. Make up your minds. Like, you have driven by like 6 freaking times. Okay, I'll wait. They give you a map. Like, are you lost? And there's the drone again. This is a bad time to film. The light is beautiful and I'm losing it because people are just going out for a leisurely drive around the campground in circles. It's amazing. This is the noisiest place I've ever tried to film. This person is speeding too. Good God. Hi, hello. We are in, where are we? We're in southern Utah, and we are celebrating 1 year in the tiny trailer. It's been a year, and we're celebrating. Hooray, cheers, a year. It's actually been over a year. Cheers. So 1 year, I bought the trailer in June of 2020. So that's 14, 15 months now. We've been on the road about 75% of that time. I came home in January to get rid of my apartment in Seattle and move into a tiny house outside of the city. I'll leave the link in the description to my tiny house tour. For our anniversary, I thought I would, 1, give you a tour since I really haven't done that yet, and then 2, answer some questions, legitimate questions that I get all the time about living in this thing, living on the road, living with a dog on the road. First, here's a little walk around of the trailer. So we're gonna do a quick little walk around, and it will be quick because there's really not much to this situation. Here is our kitchen. Hi, Isis. We have a little baby sink. It gets the job done though. This is where our water pump is, so we can turn on the water. We have the water drains through a hose out the bottom, wherever I put the hose. Under the sink, I use for cleaning products and some tool storage. Also, that's where our water tank is. It holds about 3 gallons. We've got 2 burner stove, propane. I've been working on the same propane tank since I bought the thing a year ago. Still going strong on the propane. This is a microwave that I almost never use. I use it for storage pretty much. Here we've got cooking utensils, pots and pans, dishes, all kinds of food storage, and then a couple of like appliances. We've even got a little spot to charge our phones outside. And up here we have our utensils, and cool deal, we have outdoor speakers. I love sitting out here listening to music and cooking. There's the other speaker. And we have this really pretty recessed lighting here. When it's very dark out, we have another light. We've got an awning, very important when we're in the desert. And yes, this is in fact 2 coolers. This guy is more pantry type of items, and this is where all of my cold food is. I need to go get some ice. So here is my little table. Normally it's next to the bed, or it's on the bed if I am working. Oh look, I'm uploading a YouTube video. And this is where I keep Alexa.
Your device is offline.
This is where I sleep. Dog sleeps in the corner here. Her bed is in the car now because we just got back from a little drive. her bed lives here in the corner or in the car. So first we have this little sliding storage that runs the width of the trailer. I keep a lot of cords in there. These little fellows here and here are absolute death on your head, and they have drawn blood on many occasions, these little corners right above where I sleep. There's not a lot of storage in them. I really should just rip them out of the wall. These corners are real dangerous. Here we've got our little kind of moonroof thing. We've got our shades. This all opens up. So we have, again, some lovely recessed lighting. Below our cupboard here, we've got our stereo with speakers inside and outside, as you saw. As you can see, I am still removing warning stickers a year after I bought this trailer. This is our heater. This is full of dust right now. Gross. Everything I own is full of red sand and dust because I've been in the Utah desert for going on 2 weeks now. And that's the air conditioner. It's just a little baby. It works to about 90 degrees and then it just blows hot air. So cupboards in here, mostly clothes because I get dressed in here. I like to keep that kind of stuff handy. So this is like the miscellaneous clothes I like to have handy, like some sweaters and stuff. So I can throw on a sweater in the morning when I get up. Toiletries and first aid and all manner of things up here. Stuff for showers. All of the stuff you would probably normally keep in a bathroom is up here. And then we've got more clothes here. Hiking shirts, hiking shorts, hiking sort of shorts, hiking pants. All the hiking. That's all I do. This is really neat. I like these windows in here. This is fun. So here is what I use to tow aforementioned trailer. So here's, I'm gonna show you a big mess, but this is what it looks like normally, so deal with it. I live out of this thing, give me a break. Again, everything's full of red sand. So this is the Jeep. This is the second part of our house. The dog lives back here. Here's her bed. But behind this, this is my water corner where I keep all of my extra drinks. I always have this blue water jug back here. We've got 5 gallons of water, so we have it whenever we might need it driving around. This doesn't leave the vehicle. All right, so here's the interesting corner. This is where I keep like everything. I hang bags here. When I'm traveling, like my work laptop and stuff goes in here. I keep a lot of important stuff in the front seat, so it's handy. Hiking bag here, important to have handy. And then all of my camera gear goes up front so I can pull over and use it whenever the opportunity arises. I've got extra batteries and memory cards in here. And then of course, we have a GoPro here. These little handholds are great for clipping my GoPro wherever I need it, either here or over on the driver's side. So that was the trailer tour. Let's tell some stories and answer some questions. I will start with a question that I've been asked a few times now. We'll just get it out of the way. How much did your husband pay for that? So I paid for the premium trim package that comes without a husband. Speaking of being single, I get asked almost everywhere I go, is it just you and that thing all alone? Never. Can I say never? Never. Never. Please don't ask a lone traveler if they're traveling alone. I have to make the assumption that you're like sizing me up to rob me or something when you ask me that question. It's a creepy question to ask any lone traveler, man or woman. Honestly, I think when people ask this question, it comes from a place of genuine curiosity. They're really just curious about, somebody doing something that isn't, typical. But yes, I travel mostly alone and it's just me and my dog. Sometimes I will tell them I am meeting up with people or I have somebody on the way. but just don't ask that question, especially, this happens to me backpacking too in the backcountry. Some guy, it's always a guy, some guy comes around the corner and sees you and, are you alone? Like, how am I supposed to answer that? That's creepy. Don't do that. But I do legitimately travel with other people sometimes. I've met a lot of people on the road, and now that we're familiar with each other, we cross paths often. We text each other and, you know, hey, where are you at? How's the weather over there? We'll meet up with each other and travel together sometimes, which is great because everybody gets to quarantine in their own space. The closest you ever get to somebody is, you know, standing across the fire from them. I don't really feel alone, even though I'm traveling alone most of the time. Although it's been a few weeks since I've crossed paths with anyone that I know, and it's starting to get a little lonely out here. That's kind of life when you're traveling alone, but I don't feel like I'm alone that often, and I can usually always make friends somewhere. Okay, this is the big one. This is the big question. This is probably what you're here for, if I know my friends at all, and that is, how do you have internet? How do you get reception? How do you work? Here's my strategy. Whatever service you have, I have Verizon. I really have no preference. You know, all coverage maps lie and all coverage maps look the same, but they're all lies. Regardless of the service, I have a separate hotspot device which has its own data plan. In addition to my phone, I can use as a hotspot with data on that. So between those two devices, I do have like just enough data to get through a month. What I also have is a cell phone signal booster, and that also, of course, boosts, you know, wherever I have a cell phone signal. With a hotspot device, I also have internet. So that boosts the signal. It can really make the difference between like having 2 bars of service and not being able to load my email to being able to load my email and have calls and things that day without having to drive to get better reception. Actually, I'll show you an old video that I made last winter when I was in the midst of live streaming, showing you my setup. So take it away, way past Allison. Today, I'm trying to do a live stream from the Oregon coast on the Alexa Twitch channel, but we don't have good reception. As you can see, we're out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody really comes here. Not a lot of us here. I only have one neighbor. So first of all, to get the stream started, we need to connect to the internet. We can't do that without a signal booster. So outside we have the car idling with a signal booster running off the inverter. As you can see, we have an antenna on the top of the car running out the window, and then we have the second antenna running into my trailer next door, where we're running everything else. Also, dog. Hi, dog. Good morning, dog. She doesn't appreciate how ridiculous the situation is, so I thought I'd share it with you. So here we've got our receiver, or our sender antenna here, coming into the trailer right here, where we also have the rest of our setup over here. And this is all running off the trailer inverter. So our stream this morning involves 2 vehicles and like 5 power outlets and, you know, a dog and maybe some Christmas lights later, running off this nifty solar panel here. So I'm gonna get to streaming now that I have this all set up. It took me all morning. So see ya. Thank you, past Allison. So yeah, that's how I manage to do what I do for a living. Actually, that's another good segue. The number 4 question I get is, do you have a job? What do you do for a living? I work in the tech industry. We're all pretty much working from home right now, no matter what, you know, insert big company of your choice here. Most people are still working from home. The important thing to note here is I'm not on a perma vacation. I have to carefully pack my days very, very precisely if I want to pack in as much, you know, adventuring and work as possible. I work normal job hours, although sometimes I am known to work very strange hours if I can get away with it. If nobody needs to be speaking with me in person, I might, you know, write a document in the middle of the night so I can get up at 3 in the morning and go for a hike and spend half of my day hiking instead. I have a lot of freedom with that, so that's how I manage to get a lot done. I just balance my schedule the best way I can, but work does come first. And if there's, you know, an important meeting, I'm not gonna like cancel it to go hiking. Actually, I'll give you a hint. Something you saw in my trailer tour just now is a hint as to what I do for a living. I wonder if you can guess what it was, if you don't already know me personally and know what I do. A little Easter egg there. Let's see if you can find it. We're gonna move inside because I'm getting eaten by bugs and this traffic is driving me crazy. Alright, well, I just had to crawl through my window to set up this shot, so I hope it's worth it. So, number 5 question I get asked a lot, why is such a tiny trailer? Well, that's a bit of a story. Way back in like late 2019, I was actually thinking about potentially getting a van or something else to travel in. I really wanted like a hard-sided thing to keep my dog in while I was away. I like visiting national parks, but as most people know in the United States, dogs are not allowed in national parks, and at least they're not allowed on like the good trails. I wanted a safe place to keep her. I can't just like leave her in a tent. She needs like a hard-sided air-conditioned thing to contain her. She's quite old, but not necessarily fragile, but I like to keep her comfortable. And then also for me, it needed to be comfortable enough to like actually work out of, because we have established that I do have a real job. So how did I arrive at the trailer? Well, I had to work backward from the vehicle I already had. So I used to drive a small Volkswagen SUV. It didn't have a good tow capacity, so my options started out with I could get a little baby trailer or I could get a van. 2020 being the way that it was, it turned out a lot of the quotes that I had gotten late in 2019, it was like the price had now doubled and the lead time like quadrupled. So I wanted to get the thing sometime before like the reign of the next monarch. Then the mission turned into, okay, what can I buy off the lot? And on the lot were extremely expensive vans. If I'm gonna spend as much as like some people pay for a house, I want it to be exactly what I want. So a van off the lot seemed like a stupid decision and really not how I wanted to spend my money. So I thought smaller. Okay, let's talk about a trailer. What can my car pull? Well, it turns out that my car I was driving at the time could not pull very much. Only about 1,500 pounds. So that narrowed my options quite a lot. And it actually eliminated all trailer options with a bathroom. My car can't tow anything on the market today with a bathroom, or at least the car I had. That's another story. Completely other story how I got my new car. I'll also link that in the description. It's funny. But anyway, when I was working with the Volkswagen, it was like, okay, what is on the market then that weighs less than 1,500 pounds and would be comfortable enough for me to want to live in for extended periods of time? So that narrowed it down to like just a few choices. And I chose this one. And really that's what anybody needs to do. Work backward from the weight that you have to work with, to pull with your existing vehicle, or plan to spend a lot of money buying a new vehicle too. This next question, this number 6 question, I've gotten this question from a couple of colleagues actually. Hello, coworkers. Do you find you work better on the road? I strongly believe that challenging yourself in ways that you're not used to being challenged is very good for creativity. And I'm a designer. The constant change of scenery and walking around the world just in awe all the time because I'm seeing so many things for the first time has done a lot for my creativity. So really what I'm doing is I'm forming new connections in my brain between ideas, and that's creativity. Last year, some of my colleagues and I were live streaming a couple days a week for several weeks, and we have live streams where I was on the cliffs of Mendocino and another one when I was in my car, and that was all very fun. There's also challenging myself physically. So once you've paddled like 16 miles of the Colorado River on a Sunday in 105-degree temperature by yourself, and that's something, you know, you've never done before, your Monday problems don't really seem like big problems anymore. So long story short, yes, I think I do much better work when I'm on the road. Here's another funny one, number 7. How do you shower? Where is your bathroom? Well, what you see is pretty much the whole trailer. There is no bathroom here, so I use campground bathrooms, or, you know, you just go wherever when you're off the grid in the woods when you're boondocking. But showering. So back in 2020 times, I was trying to avoid being in public bathrooms too much for obvious reasons. And so I do have a solar shower. A solar shower, for the unfamiliar, is essentially just a big black container that you leave out in the sun and it heats your water. And then there's some of them are pressurized, some of them are like gravity fed. I remain clean to avoid going into public bathrooms too much. I like wash my face and hair and brush my teeth in my tiny sink. Oh, and here comes more traffic. Probably another person who doesn't know how to back their trailer. Let me tell you, side note for a minute. If you buy one of these things, practice backing it up, you know, in like an open parking lot or a field or something before you go trying to jam it in a campground space and you don't know what you're doing. You will probably jackknife your own trailer if you don't practice, and you might do property damage to somebody else's property if you don't practice. We're almost there. So number 8, have there been any scary moments on the road? I think this question might also say a lot about like kind of American travel culture. We don't really travel by ourselves. I don't know how normal that is in other parts of the world. But in the United States, our geography is such that we have big open spaces of land that have absolutely no cell phone signal, no gas stations, nobody whatsoever. So it's a reasonable question. I'm generally like, I know my limits and I'm pretty careful. I don't take a lot of risks, especially, you know, traveling alone. It's not a smart thing to do, but sort of, yeah. I was driving through the pass over Rocky Mountain National Park on the Continental Divide, which is at about 12,000 feet of elevation. It snowed, and there's this dusting of snow, and I'm driving through on my trailer, and going up was very difficult because you're going through these switchbacks and the roads are kind of slick, but I can't get like a lot of speed to get up the hill because I have to make the corner. And this is in my Volkswagen. I don't have 4-wheel drive or anything in my Volkswagen. Things are different now with the Jeep, but that was a little bit crazy. And then going back down, of course, I'm skidding around corners a little bit. Luckily, it was just a dusting of snow and it wasn't like a huge deal. But that's probably like the scariest moment I've had on the road. Maybe another funny one is I did drive through San Francisco last year. I did not stop because of, again, the state of the world in fall of 2020 was a little bit crazy, especially in the major cities. I did not stop in major cities in the year 2020. But I did drive through San Francisco just because I was passing by, so I took a little detour to do the Golden Gate Bridge and then drive through the city. And I drove some hills up and down some of those crazy hills in San Francisco, and that was really fun, but also a little bit scary because I wasn't sure my car was like gonna make it pulling, you know, a trailer like at its capacity. We are gonna make it up this hill, I think. I think it's gonna be okay. There's a trailer behind me. It would be really great if I didn't have to keep stopping at every single one of these intersections. This doesn't really seem fair to me. Are we gonna make it? We're almost there. We're gonna make it, I think. We have to stop again. That's a 4-way. I'm gonna go. Holy moly, we're almost there. Here we go, almost there. I see the top. We made it. We made it. There's San Francisco over there. So I had my doubts that it was gonna work out. Number 9 is probably one of the most asked questions, but it's one of my most hated questions. I hate it when people ask me this because it's really, you know, preferences are preferences. But number 9, what's your favorite place that you've been? I haven't been anywhere that I absolutely hated, although there are places that I feel like maybe I won't go back because I've seen everything there is to see or everything that I was interested in seeing. But there are some places that come to mind when I'm asked this question, but I have to say it's because of the memories I have, specific circumstances or people that I was with, or, you know, just experiences that I've had. And that's not going to be your experience, but I can certainly recommend some places. I will talk a little bit about some of my favorite memories. I mentioned live streaming last year, and I did that from all sorts of places. I think my favorite live stream was I had to go driving to find cell phone reception, because even though I have a cell signal booster, it doesn't boost no signal. So I had to go find signal in order to do this live stream. And I drove for like an hour, and I ended up in Mendocino, California, on this like beautiful main street with all of these cute old historic buildings. And then on the other side of me in the background were the cliffs and the ocean, and you can hear the waves, and it was just amazing. That was such a fun stream. It was our last stream of the year. We were finishing up a project. It was just a really good time, and it was fun to be streaming from the California coast. The Northern California coast is beautiful. It's a great place to go road tripping, a great place to go camping. It's a lot more rural. You see a lot more farms once you get, you know, north out of San Francisco. That part of 101 up from north of San Francisco, probably up into Oregon, and then up north even to the tip of the Washington Peninsula. That entire corridor is beautiful. I would highly recommend it. Joshua Tree around New Year's was also great. I watched a meteor shower in the freezing cold. It was like 3 degrees that night. Pitch dark. The dark skies in Joshua Tree are pretty nice, and I watched a meteor shower, and that was lovely. I was also climbing in Red Rock Canyon last year. It was closer to Christmas time. And Red Rock Canyon is like north of Las Vegas, and I was climbing in the evening, and I could look out and I could see Las Vegas lights in the distance. It's like 30 minutes out of Las Vegas. And then behind me, the sun was setting, and the sunset was gorgeous, and at the same time the moonrise was happening, and it was a full moon, and that was just like a religious experience. Climbing during sunset, full moon rise, lights in the distance. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment last year that I will not forget. So Red Rock Canyon is a beautiful setting. And if you're going to go to Red Rock Canyon, I would also suggest Valley of Fire State Park, which is just like mind-blowing, the rock formations. Definitely do that if you get out that way. So, and just recently, another favorite place, if you ever get out to like Lake Powell, Grand Canyon, any, you know, and that whole area, Lake Powell, Glen Canyon, Grand Canyon, you can actually take a boat, and I took a boat, I paid a boat to take me 15-16 miles upstream to the dam at Lake Powell, and then I floated/paddled on my stand-up paddleboard 16 miles back down to the boat launch. And it's wonderful paddleboarding trip, but it was double the length of the longest paddleboarding trip I've ever done, but I loved every minute of it. Everybody's seen like the iconic photos of Horseshoe Bend and all of that. Well, I got to see it from the bottom of the canyon instead of from the top. I could see all the tourists up top. They were like itty bitty tiny. Also, a bonus memory, and this is not of any place in particular. I was staying at this like random RV park outside of Death Valley, California. I was actually with a friend. It was Christmas Eve, and this is a fond memory of mine because it's a testament to like the kind of people that you meet on the road and just how truly wonderful and interesting some of them are. We pulled in on Christmas Day last year. We've been driving all day, and we were unpacking, we were setting up and everything, and this couple comes and brings us Christmas dinner, and there was ham, and there was turkey, and there was stuffing, and pie, and vegetables, and like all of the good Christmas dinner type of stuff. And it turns out that this guy, he said he was an out-of-work chef, and he missed cooking, and so he cooked dinner. He cooked like dozens of dinners to hand out in the RV park for people who weren't having, didn't have plans for Christmas dinner that day. And then he and his wife saw us pull in, like, oh my gosh, these poor kids traveling all day. It's Christmas, what are you doing? And so they gave us dinner, and we ate dinner when it was late on Christmas. We were just ready to go to bed, and we got this wonderful Christmas dinner from this very nice couple, and I think about them a lot, as well as a lot of other people I've met on the road. All right, final question. We made it. Are you gonna do this forever? What's next for you? No, I'm not going to do this forever. I'm really, I only figured we'd be doing this for like a year, working from home for a year, and I figured, this would be my home for like a year, and that's why I bought it. This year has now dragged on into the next year. When I started this adventure, it was simply to get a change of scenery, get a safe distance between myself and everybody else in the world, disconnect as much as possible, because I was tired of like doom scrolling all the time, just living in this very negative space in my own head in my tiny apartment in Seattle. I'm gonna ride this train until it pulls back into the station. Whenever it's time to go back, I'm happy to go back. What's next for me? I want to take my tiny house that I bought, that I have shown you, and I want to move it to property, get some property, start a family, all that jazz, start a little homestead, and maybe slowly make my exit out of the tech world. Gosh, I said a lot. So that was life on the road for a year, and what I've learned and all that I have to share about it. Well, probably not all I have to share. I might tell you some more stories later on. And I will see you out on the road, at least for another few months. Bye!